Joan by Carol M Mottershead. Chapter 4. "Good morning, Joan, and how are you today?" asked Dr. Venables. I gave her the thumbs up and smiled by way of an answer. "Still no voice, I see. Let me look at you." She examined me all over once again. Throat, eyes, ears, and various other tests before speaking again. I felt more like a prize horse at an agricultural show being given the once-over by a potential buyer than a patient, and it made me want to laugh, bring a smile momentarily to my face. Unfortunately, what Dr. Venables told me next completely wiped the smile from my face, for all she could suggest was more rest and referrals to a speech therapist who she thought might just give me some form of anxiety medication. Or maybe a psychiatrist who might want to try something called electric shock treatment. No way. I'd heard bad things about the latter. I shook my head vehemently and closed my eyes, not wanting to hear any more of what she had to say. Why can't I remember? Why can't I speak? I lay down feeling desolate and alone. I wanted to cry. "Nicholas, Nicholas, where are you?" I could hear Dr. Venables talking about alternative medicines that she couldn't recommend, but probably noticing that I was no longer listening, she stopped talking to me and left, giving further instructions to the nurses as she did so. Before the doctor had arrived, I felt happy for a little while, lost in my memories. Now I'm left with nothing. No hope. I fell asleep wanting to let go of these feelings of desolation and loneliness. I hoped to sleep away my worries, but all I got were disturbing dreams, flashes of faces, some that I knew, some I didn't. Guillotines like the ones they used during the French Revolution, images that didn't make sense. Then the face of Nicholas appeared right in front of me, close up, and it tried to tell me something. And I woke up, my heart pounding, anxious and afraid. An overwhelmingly heavy feeling around my heart. I wanted to cry, but didn't know why. Alison arrived later that day, with flowers from her garden, which was nice. She chatted on about all sorts of trivia. I felt so low that I could only nod and smile in what I hoped were the right places. She had been told my condition by the nurse when she arrived, and tried in her own inimitable style to give me hope by suggesting she would look into some of these alternatives that the doctor had mentioned. I knew she would. She'd been a good friend to me since we met. The nurses went about their business, in and out of my room to check on me or bring me food and things. But later on I was left with my thoughts once again. I allowed my thoughts to wander back to my Pulcinella. I had seen him at his best, and I'd seen him at his worst. But nothing had made me feel like this before. What was my mind trying to tell me? I knew enough about dreams to know that sometimes your dreams try to process things that have occurred during the day, especially things that worry you. So what were these dreams about? Sleep, I told myself, is what I would tell Nicholas and Pulcinella whenever anything was troubling them. Just sleep. Tomorrow's another day. The next few days were a blur of new faces and different specialists in their own fields. Selective mutism, they called it, and short-term memory loss, both brought on by a shock of some kind. Questions after questions, all asking the same ultimate thing. What happened? I don't know what happened. I can't remember what happened. I wanted to scream at them. I could take no more. I decided it was time to leave. I discharged myself. Alison tried to persuade me to stay a while longer, but I was wasting everyone's time. Let them have the bed for patients they can help. I could never open up to them freely, as they kept asking me to do, for if I told them my true past, they'd lock me up and throw away the key. No, I would have to find someone I could trust, something that didn't come naturally to me. The things I'd seen over my many years would fill anyone with horror. Women locked away for madness just for answering back to their wealthy husbands, or women suffering depression after they were having a baby and were seen to be suffering milk madness would be locked up, their child taken away from them. So me, talking about my lifetime, well, I would have no chance. Discharge was my only option. True to her word, Alison had looked into alternative treatments for me. She helped me source an acupuncturist who told me that she could rebalance my chi, or my life force energy, manipulating the energy flow to help remove blockages to my vocal cords, or some such thing. I was sceptical, but I remembered that Nicholas was an advocate of acupuncture, so I allowed my doubt to turn to trust in his name. She also suggested I complement our work together with classes in Qigong, or Tai Chi, which we were told was the practice of rebalancing the life force energy for good health and well-being. Alison agreed to join me for support, but I think she secretly enjoyed it, especially when she was told how every slow, gentle move in Tai Chi equated to the more violent moves in martial art forms, like grabbing someone by the shoulders, tossing them aside, or thumping, punching, or kicking someone to the throat, chest or groin, although I think she enjoyed that idea a little too much at times. It did help. Slowly we both felt mentally and physically stronger. Alison and I would practice regularly at home, and after a few months of intensive workouts, I finally started to see some progress. First it was like a hoarse whisper. My voice would occasionally crack, but after months of patience, odd words and squeaks would sound out, unexpectedly. I was keen to get my voice back, but I had to make sure I didn't overdo it. Patience had never been my forte, but Tai Chi and meditation helped me control my sense of urgency. I wanted to get better. Every day saw an improvement. After a while, several words would come out intermittently. Slowly, sentences came together before gentle conversations could occur. Slow and sure. That's the way to do it. Performing would have to wait. Eventually my voice was fully recovered. I was able to speak again without effort. I was thrilled. I was sleeping better and eating better, and finally ready to work again. My memory, well, I was a bit more nervous about that. To find out what it was that had been so bad that I chose to block it from my mind, well, that was scary. I decided to get some normality back into my life first. I told myself that my mind would let me know when it was ready to know the truth, and I focused on my puppets once again. Entertaining the children, my favourite occupation of all time, and life felt great.